All right, guys, so here we go. Hello again. I'm talking to Danielle here. I'm Aaron, and we are doing our, I guess it's a podcast now. That's I don't introduce it properly every time. We just start talking. Doing this by the seat of our pants, trying to get more ideas about crypto out into the universe, out into the non-crypto sphere, as well as the crypto sphere for people who are just coming in and people who are already in. So I think last time, we wanted to cover this idea of staking, and I think we've mentioned it a couple times in the past, and I just kind of sort of want to get people oriented as to what it is, how it works, and stuff like that. So do you want to maybe share right off the bat some of your, Danielle, some of your staking experiences so far? Or how would you like to open it up?
Okay. So basically, staking is taking your crypto and adding it to a liquidity pool that helps that coin grow more. So, for example, I'm going to use Algorand as an example here. So you take $500 of your money, you buy Algorand as a cryptocurrency. Say that it's $1.80. And it's very volatile, right? So it'll go from like $1.20 to $3 and back again. And say that it just moves around a lot. No matter how much it moves around, you get what's called staking rewards. So for about $500, every few days, it'll drop like 20 cents, 15 cents, 18 cents into your account. That money goes back in to buy more Algorand. So the hope is that not only are you in a cryptocurrency that's eventually going to most likely grow quite a bit, but at the same time you're earning little rewards it's almost like tiny baby dividend payments. For anybody that's familiar with the world of stocks, a dividend payment is something that just keeps paying you out over time for parking your money there. So it's like taking your car, you're parking in a space, and you're reaping small rewards along the way, right, just to keep it there.
Right. I think they do that quarterly or something like that. The company just gives you a share of their revenues in form of a dividend payment, like a percentage.
Right.
The stock market
in the world of crypto, You're getting those rewards back daily. If you have enough money in there, it pays you frequently. And what's so amazing is that the more you have in there, the more rewards you get. So it's like compounding daily. So if you have a checking account and you get less than 1%, I had a month where I had, no joke, like $8,000, $9,000 in there, and it gave me like 35 cents. And I'm like, well, that's just ludicrous. So I started to put a little more money into the staking pools. I use Coinbase, so they have a couple choices. They have Cosmos, which is 5% APR on average. They have Algorand, which I believe is 4%, and then Tezos, which is 4.63%. Don't quote me on exactly, but that's the neighborhood. They're different prices. So Cosmos is a little more expensive. So if you want to spend, say, $25 a coin, I guess that's a bit of a higher risk. But I like the ones that are like $1 and change. Like Tezos has fluctuated quite a bit. Right now it's trading for $5 today. But I keep getting these little rewards. It really adds up over time. It's like an interest payment.
Yeah, so how long, when you lock up your pool, how long is it locked in there?
So it's not locked at all. Those three are not locked. So there's different kinds of staking. There's the ones that I just mentioned, like Algorand, Cosmos. Oh, Stella, I think you can stake that as well. They automatically stake. There's a feature inside Coinbase in your settings. You just click and you turn on the staking feature, which means anything you put into one of those staking coins, you're going to I don't know why anybody would ever turn the staking feature off. I'm actually not clear on why there's even an option. If it's saying 5% APR, you put your money in there, who's not going to take the 5% APR?
I think because they think it's locked, like in your Ethereum, right?
But it's not locked. So now Ethereum is a different ballgame. When you buy Ethereum, you have to move it into Ethereum 2.0, and then it's locked. So then you can't touch it. The rewards are Ethereum's just growing by leaps and bounds. We don't know, who knows where the top of that will be. So I feel like that's a greater, longer term thing to get into.
I mean, any of these are growing by leaps and bounds. We just don't know how far any of them are going to go.
Yeah, there's so many more projects tied up with Ethereum. These other guys are just more. I use them as like a checking, like I would use a checking account.
Okay, so
yeah,
so now that's just basic staking on Coinbase, and there's a lot of other projects out there where it goes into the Wild West again. Like I know that this project that's launching right away here is the that I keep referring to, and I haven't done the research, and I want to look into it. And if it's not too late, I'll maybe bring this up next time. But it's the Maiar testnet exchange with the Egold tokens, Elrond Egold tokens that you stake and swap for MEX tokens, and they're claiming like a ridiculous 10,000% APY. You know, and I've seen projects out there where they were claiming like millions of percents APY, and I don't know how I think it's completely non-sustainable. It's based on a small number of people that do the initial staking in the pool, and as the pool grows, that drops precipitously. Like it's a non-sustainable model, but and I don't know about those projects. I know that they exist and that they're out there, but there's people out there that are like another example is the Pancake syrup pool. I know you wanted to talk about that, right? Did you have any luck with that yet?
Yeah, it's on the Binance network. I'm looking into that because I've never opened a MetaMask. I just have a regular Coinbase storage wallet. So you have to connect your wallet. It's a little more in depth because once you go to pancakeswap.finance, I believe it is, or you can get go to Google and get the proper link, because
address. That's what I was saying. There's a lot of scams out there. Make sure you get the right link. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I've used PancakeSwap numerous times. I think it's, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Absolutely. If something feels weird, don't click.
App.pancakeswap or something.org. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And if you are, there's a thing called this. I just think this is really funny how it's brilliant marketing because they call it the syrup pool.
Yep.
So there's a guy on TikTok I saw, and he put in like $200, and within 5 days it was $245 because of how much the liquidity pool is. Just the percentage back is daily, and it's growing.
But it has been dropping a lot. So I still think it's significant, but I don't think it's quite as like mind-boggling and eye-popping as it was a few months ago.
Well, and I wonder if part of that is due to the fact that the market is changing all the time. But I think that super bear market that we just had in the past 12 months, I mean, it look at any crypto chart. Let's just take Bitcoin on a yearly chart. It went from 10,000 to 60,000 in the space of 6 months.
And back down to 30.
To May. Right, and then back down to 30. So I think crypto is leveling out right now. I think it's finding its stride. And I just think staking is just brilliant. Are you going back to PancakeSwap? I think there's so much opportunity right now, but I'm in it for, if you guys watch Aaron and I'm definitely the safer sort of investor. Aaron delves into like many more dark alleyways, and I'm sort of sticking over on Main Street. I'm not as adventurous in crypto as you are. So I do want to try PancakeSwap though. I definitely want to get into that. So I would love to hear if anybody's had experiences either way with this.
I mean, I've used the exchange many times, but I've not done the staking there. I've not done the syrup pool, but I'll look at it again too. This is the next checklist on my to-do list of what to do next in crypto, and it is staking and yield farming and liquidity pools and all that stuff too, because I think it's people. The thing with crypto is that the gains are going to come and they're going to keep coming, but a lot of people that I talk to in the sort of the underbelly world of crypto are like, yeah, but what about just continuous passive income? And I think staking is one of the best ways to do that. Just continue. You can stake NFTs now. Like I have some Sidus Heros from the game Sidus, and you can stake those for passive income. Now, I haven't done it yet, again, because Ethereum fees are so high and it's on the Ethereum chain. So you try to lock them down, you're going to pay like $300 in fees. So you have to lock them down for long enough so that it makes it worth it when you're staking them. So otherwise, yeah, so I got to look into that again, but maybe in this next upcoming bear market, if it happens, the price of Ethereum gas will go down. But you can, so the staking is everywhere. It's not just, it's everywhere. It's just a thing that's happening to increase the liquidity of all these different projects and coins and tokens.
Yeah, and I was waiting for the Ethereum staking. I couldn't wait. I was like a kid in a candy store when that finally debuted, because I staked 10 of my Ethereum, actually now like 10 and a half, because I started, I think the availability was back. And a lot of people do this out of an exchange. They do it on their own. There's other ways to stake that I do not have knowledge of. I never claimed to. What I do know is the minute I put it on the exchange, it started to earn interest, and it shows the interest up. So even as the asset is moving up and down, today, the average amount that I will be paid once Ethereum 2.0 launches in a year or two, in the past 5 months, it's already like $1,500. And it's like $1,500 in interest just sitting there. So again, it's good for me. I need the discipline to not touch it. I have like fast trader fingers where I like to get in and out of positions really quick. And I really am loving that Ethereum, you can't do anything to it. I'm just watching and sitting, watching it grow. So, and I got my Ethereum for most of them for $180 back, not even that long ago. So in the crypto, to me, I just wanted to say throw out like a philosophical sort of remark about this. With staking, it's like you really have to choose and vote where you put your money. Because if you want to chase the more elusive projects, the ones that are the back alley, dark, the ones that are harder to access, the ones that you read about on every subreddit in the planet, the really fast ones, that's like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute with like a rib in it. Like, you're going to make it to the ground safely, but it's a much trickier proposition. I personally wouldn't do it.
I mean, what if the project falls apart and the value of the token goes to nothing? I mean, you never know, right? You
just don't know. Mm-hmm. Like when I was sitting down with it a month ago, Greg and I sat down with an actual legit financial advisor at with a real presence. It's the first time I had sat down with one in years. And he said to me, I told him I'm in on crypto. I'm fully bullish on it. And he said to me, if I was doing an assessment of where you would be on the risk scale, you would be a parachute jumper. You would be a skydiver jumping out of the airplane, which I've done before. So maybe some of it is personality.
What about the actual stunt jumper who jumps from the airplane without a parachute, but jumps into that huge pile of cushions, and then it goes down hundreds of feet and then they like land?
Okay. Yeah. So that guy is the one that gets into crypto, like projects that are
1 billion percent APR. So back down to reality here. For the person who wants to, quote unquote, replace their checking account for 5%, which sounds fantastic by today's standards, what do they do? How do you do it just for beginners?
See for yourself. Put $100 into Algorand and watch the staking rewards. It's kind of amazing. I mean, you find a quarter on the ground.
So you literally just go into Coinbase, buy the coin, turn the staking on, and then take a nap.
Yeah, you go into settings, make sure your feature the availability to stake is turned on. And then you just take a nap. And it's passive income. Nice. I like it. I'm a fan. I am so tired of feeling like banks give you nothing in return for housing with direct deposit. So most people get their paycheck in the form of a check, right? So it comes into your bank account and then sits there, and then you pay bills and you use it. But with crypto, at least you're earning some money on something, anything. I don't know.
Like even if it isn't going up 100% a day, you're still getting little drips of money in there all the time. Like a dividend.
All the time. So even if the asset drops, you're still getting staking rewards. Mm-hmm. So say the asset drops, like Algorand dropped a little bit last night. So say that it went from, I don't know, $2.25 to $1.80. You're still getting little drips of money every single day. So the more money you have sitting in there, then you get big drops of money. Right. You get rewards. Mm-hmm. The rewards are bigger. So it's because it's interest rate and it's based on the percentage of how much you have in the staking pool. So I like a little mix. So I have the 2.0 is completely locked. You can't touch, right? But then Algorand is, you can liquefy it, liquidate it. Can liquefy.
Liquefy it like a ninja blender.
Just liquefy.
Try this new Ethereum. Try this new Ethereum salsa that I made. This new Ethereum dip. I don't know.
I mean, somebody from a major banking institution, if they are not getting on board with blockchain right now and competing with this, I'm the first customer out of a bajillion they're going to lose. Because it's just a matter of time. They have to be more competitive with their
I've
API.
never thought for the longest time as a savings account as a place to put my money. Like I put my money in stocks. I put my money, you know what I mean? I don't put it in a savings account. So people who are still thinking along those lines, or even an interest checking account, I mean, I guess I don't compare things in that regard, like I said. So,
yeah, you can't, because if you put it in an interest account for your inflation is outpacing. What?
Back to the Thanksgiving thing. It's like people think that crypto is a Ponzi scheme, and people in the crypto world think that the U.S. dollar is a Ponzi scheme at this point with the inflation and all the stimulus spending and stuff. That's the Ponzi scheme, the U.S. dollar.
The amount of quantitative easing is going to continue to drive us into inflation. The inflationary rate came out, it was like 6.15 report. That's insane. Like a normal year. Oh, and then you have your raise at work, right? Which is customary 2% raise. It doesn't even keep up with what's going on right now. So you better find a place to put your money. And I even tell my son, who's a freshman in college, I'm like, he got some money as gifts for graduating. And very generously, his father's family gave him a little bit of money to start his life off with. I said, that money is going to be worth nothing in like 2 years. You better put some of that somewhere.
You better buy some Bored Apes with that from the Bored Apes Yacht Club. Those are the only things that are going to appreciate.
It's like, yeah, and somewhere that he can access it. Because say that he needs it in a year, you don't want to put it into like a Vanguard wealth. You don't want to lock it up to the point where you can't touch it in 10 years either. But some people prefer that. I just personally, I love having autonomy over my own situation financially. That's just me.
Cool. Do we want to touch on anything? Back in the last episode, we kind of suddenly drifted into the metaverse, and then we drifted out of it. Because you were talking about the foundation of the house. You're like, Bitcoin is the land, and Ethereum is the walls, and then there's all these other things. And it's all sort of going towards that. I don't know if I want to open up a whole other can of worms right now, if I wanted to just kind of maybe do some describing about that, about the metaverse and kind of what it may actually wind up being, because we don't know how it's going to be. And like we were talking earlier too about how, or in the last episode we were talking about how this is kind of like a developing and unfolding world of Wild Wests that are coming together. So yeah, it's a bit of a change of gear. But you mentioned the word house, and so I thought to myself again, oh, that reminds me of the metaverse because it's part of the house of the structure that you live in.
The metaverse is just amazing. I don't know if you've never seen a video about how this works, how it's going. The people that are envisioning this are brilliant. You will basically be able to walk into a coffee shop, and there will be what's called, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like a toll gate where you have to like pay a little entrance fee to get in and out of different people's shops and homes. And just like you would in the real world, you're not going to just step into like a bar or club and not have a drink or not spend money, right? Normally. Okay, maybe not in somebody's house, but all the spaces in the metaverse are basically going to allow people to interact. Like, for example, we were talking about this at work yesterday. If we have a Zoom meeting and somebody can't make it into the city, into the office that day, we will now have a metaverse meeting where you look like you're sitting across from a digital coworker.
Yeah, they have that. There's already projects that are developing that. Network was one of them. I think they're like talking about having meeting spaces, but I mean, the Sandbox is going to be like that. Basically, the Sandbox is open-ended space for programmers, game developers to be able to put whatever they want inside of those locations. And so my kind of sort of query, is it going to be one metaverse, or is it going to be a series of metaverses that are all linked together, or eventually are things going to be integrated into one specific larger framework that is the metaverse? Because Mark Zuckerberg wants his metaverse, and he wants you to all like be a member and like pay whatever membership fee he has for entrance, and then everybody in the non Mark Zuckerberg world, like, and everybody in the decentralized crypto world and in the you know, in all these groups are like, no, that's not going to be how the metaverse works. No one company's going to own it, and or run it. And I'm almost wondering if there's going to be like Mark Zuckerberg's, like metaverse over here if you want to go play the way that Facebook does it structured, or there's going to be the open world metaverse over here with all these different currencies, tokens, projects, all interacting together in a unique way that have somehow found ways to bridge their different economies, to bridge their different tokenomics and work together. And if those two things are going to exist independently, if one is going to basically Darwin the other one out of existence, or if they're going to actually eventually all merge together. Like if Facebook will become a part of the bigger series of metaverses, and it'll just be a location in the sandbox. I don't know, like, who's going to win this, you know? It's a lot of food for thought. We don't know how it's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen yet. We're kind of witnessing we're stepping into unknown waters. Like we're going into like an open sea, bad pun, open sea, the NFT place. We're going into an open sea that no one's ever been in before.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the whole point about Facebook is that it's the greatest social network on the planet, right? So that's how a lot of people connect.
For making people fight.
This going to connect people in the. Well, he spent billions on acquiring Oculus, which is the virtual reality glasses.
Yeah, I've played them. Have you?
Super realistic.
You played them? So, have you been on them? Have you put them on?
So my kids took me. There's like a gaming place at the mall, and I put a pair on. I don't know if they were Oculus, and it's I got to tell you, it's like wicked crazy how intense it is when you have.
You get dizzy.
You do feel like you're in a situation. I was like, had something with a sword.
I played like a Walking Dead game on there, like a zombie game, and it was really creepy. Like zombies coming up in your field of view. Yeah.
I mean, it's really neat. How it's going to, you said the thing about Darwinism, how it might take over. I think if Mark is obviously brilliant, if he merges the two, because it's like saying, I think that they're both going to exist. I think there's going to be just the metaverse, like you said. Oh, and get ready. Instagram is already called Meta, real small at the bottom when you open the app on your phone.
Oh yeah, it's like this. It's on CNBC. This ticker symbol says Meta when you go watch it on TV.
Yeah, they already changed, and then, so Facebook itself will actually change its name to Meta on December 1st, which I think is going to going back to cryptocurrency. Can you talk about how that ties in with Decentraland and Sandbox and the prices of these cryptos, and why are these being offered in the cryptocurrency atmosphere versus traditional stocks? Because there's also really good stocks that you can invest in addition to cryptocurrencies in the metaverse.
What are the metaverse stocks other than Facebook? I mean, anytime that you have crypto pumping, you're going to have like things like AMD and NVIDIA pumping. They've been pumping a lot lately. I have those two because I still have a lot of stocks. But I have AMD and NVIDIA, and they've been doing great. And I think that's part of this whole cryptosphere or metaverse, cryptoverse hype. So what are the other stocks that are metaverse stocks?
I'm not prepared to drop those today because I feel like those are. I don't want to plug something that I'm looking at myself yet.
Insider alpha here.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not a big stock person to begin with. I'm not a big Robinhood fan to begin with. So
right. I don't use Robinhood. I use Schwab. I don't have my coffee mug today. I'm not drinking tea. I usually drink tea out of my Schwab mug. I don't know what happened. We got going and I forgot to have my mug with me. But Schwab is my.
But wait, I have a question for you. Do you think the whales are going to come in on the metaverse eventually? Because it's like investing in Atari in 19...
Show the whale mug again.
82.
Show the whale mug again. You didn't show the whale mug enough. The last time you had the bear mug, now you have the whale mug.
I have the whale mug because we're talking about whales and crypto and how they come in and then they like gobble all everything up in the whole entire ocean.
Well, they dump on you,
So-
and then your crypto goes to zero. So metaverse projects, metaverse games, metaverse tokens, they've been pumping since Zuckerberg said, "Oh, I'm going to make the metaverse," and it's been a hot button topic. And I think what it'll do is it'll cool down. People will forget about it for a while. It'll just kind of be there while all of these gaming projects and while all of these metaverse projects are working behind the scenes and developing, and then all of a sudden, when it starts to become functional, it's gonna go off the deep end again, and it's gonna go hoopla. And
when will it become functional? By 2080?
I don't know.
I mean, we're going to see it in our
I
lifetime.
think the biggest
believe that.
opportunities. I think the biggest opportunities in crypto are going to be gaming cryptos in 2022.
Yes,
And those are metaverse
I agree with you.
based. That's where we're looking. That's I think a good way to
Why
look
do you
at things.
think those opportunities? So, for those that may be a little newer to crypto, there's there's a lot of different facets of crypto, if you will. So there's traditional banking that's being disrupted. There's gaming. There's a lot of things intersecting all at the same time that are about to experience the largest technological mass adoption that we as a human species have ever experienced. So how this is going to manifest itself in an end use case, I think I'm going to not be talking to you on a meeting or Zoom or my colleagues. I think you're going to be sitting right at the table with me as if you're here and I'm here.
Yeah, we don't have the metaverse until we have the 3D glasses technology perfected, and we're in that.
I mean,
other
it's
world.
pretty exciting stuff. Like, could you have imagined?
But yeah, it's all intersecting. Yeah, no, it's all intersecting, and it is pretty exciting to think what's going to happen and how much growth is going to occur. Because as you were alluding to, people who aren't in the awareness or in the know, the gaming market, the market size is so much smaller as far as like total number of users than total number of potential users right now in crypto
Right.
gaming. And so the market has exponential room to grow. And that's why I think
Yeah,
it's such a
this
big
is-
opportunity, because gamers are going to be able to come onto line from fiat on-ramps. You're going to have people that are able to buy into the games. When they figure out fiat on-ramping for gaming and you can buy in with your credit card with dollars and you can start participating in those tokens from your cell phone in any country around the world, then it's going to be a cataclysmic parabolic explosion,
Do you think that it tied in? I think for it to tie into crypto was because you could use cryptocurrency to fund your, like, building, say, a ballpark inside the metaverse. Like, where did crypto get tied in? Was it because there were so many young early adopters into crypto that are going to be early adopters into meta? It's kind of the same demographic. It's a lot of young guys.
Where are you saying
A
where it got brought into gaming, blockchain into gaming?
Yeah, like, how did the two intersect? How, like, meta, to me, it's so intertwined with crypto right now, and I always wondered, like, how.
See, the thing is, gaming is going to be a huge part of the metaverse. That's a thing. Like, gaming is going to be one of the biggest features of the metaverse, I think. But the reason blockchain works so well for gaming is because you have instant. Well, not instant. If it's Ethereum, you got to wait and you got to pay those gas fees. But you have essentially instantaneous transactions. Multinational without currency exchange issues. You can't have, like, the Maiar quiz game. People from around the world can play with the Maiar token. You don't, like, oh, I'm coming in from US dollars. I'm coming in from euros. I'm coming in from yen. How do we all pay our fee and then get the reward if some countries won't allow it and then you don't have this and you have all these rules? And how do you get the app to, like, accept all those currencies, right? So this is why, like, the blockchain lends itself so well to this universal exchange of funds,
which is so cool because you don't have to pay any exchange fees, or like, my kids play multi-level games all the time, and they're on with kids from Sweden and Japan. I hear them talk, and often they're speaking in English. I'm not sure why that always is seems to be the common language. But my one son, he's almost 14. He's constantly talking to kids from all over the planet. So if he gets in, it's really cool because he doesn't have to ever pay an exchange rate. It's just, like you said, it's so instantaneous.
It's instantaneous, and it's breaking borders. It's cross border. It's like there's no boundary in that regard. If the token is universal inside the game or inside the metaverse, then people on-ramp from however they on-ramp, they don't have to worry about all these different exchanges in the game.
That's like mind-blowing.
And that's why it lends itself to the
internet.
blockchain, lends itself to gaming. You build the assets.
So cool.
And the other thing was that we had assets that were being purchased in games 7 or 8 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but this guy, maybe I'll kind of maybe just talk about this one guy, and then maybe we can leave it at that. This will kind of be a capstone for this conversation. But Richard Garriott, Lord British, was sort of the original computer game programmer. And I was completely addicted to this game called Ultima 4 when I was a kid. And he had the Ultima series, and he was the first guy to create like role-playing adventure computer games where he had like, first off, it was a 3D map. You were in a maze and it was drawn in front of you. And he had this 3D like virtual view. That was the metaverse. It was just the primitive, like you were in another world because it was a 3D drawing of a dungeon you were in. And then he had the land grid-based version. But point I wanted to get to is that he's credited for many things in the gaming, online gaming world. Number one, the avatar. He adapted the word avatar for meaning your character in your game. That's Richard Garriott. That's Lord British. That's his nickname in the gaming world, Lord British. And Ultima 4 was Quest of the Avatar. So the avatar was this sort of person of higher virtues. And you had to find all your virtues, and you were on this great quest, this journey to save the planet through higher virtues, rather than through vanquishing a villain. But so he did that. And the other thing that he did, or that happened in one of his games, is that he developed Ultima into an MMORPG, multi-massive online role-playing game. And that was, I think Ultima Online was the first, if not one of the first, that actually did that. And that sort of opened the floodgates for all of these blockchain games to kind of the model for it to happen. Once you had multiplayer online gaming and everybody was playing in the same universe at the same time, that's a Richard Garriott is sort of an unsung hero that not a lot of people of this generation, the younger generation, even know about. Maybe they do know him, but he's sort of the grandfather of computer gaming, and he could kind of be credited for the concepts behind blockchain gaming and in multiverses and metaverses and all this stuff, because items were being bought in Ultima Online in dollar value. Like that was starting to be a thing. People were like, oh, I want this sword or I want this land. And people were trading it on eBay, I believe. And so now, once you move eBay and US dollars out of the way and everything just happens like instantaneously within the structure of the game, and you have like a designated decentralized swapping app inside the game and a designated currency or set of currencies. Like Sidus, you have two currencies. You have the Senate token, and I forget the name of the other one. There's going to be two currencies for that game. There's a lot of games that have two currencies. One sort of for voting and governance and running this game, and the other one for actually trading your guns and your weapons and buying things in the actual game if you want to buy a house or a store or something like that. So point is that this is where it came from. It developed over time from all these different places. I don't know why I wanted to bring that up, but I just wanted to sort of like do a bit of a tribute to that guy who was an inspiration for me. And that's one of the reasons why I am so interested in blockchain gaming and metaverse gaming, is because of my upbringing with online or just computer role-playing games through Ultima and Lord British. I don't know the main point of that was. I think the point is that the foundations have been established and been laid down for quite some time, and they're evolving into cryptocurrency world, into blockchain. They're ready for it because the framework was already laid like a decade or more
Aaron,
ago.
Thank you for that segue, because I never completely understood it until you just explained it that way. And it's interesting because he was definitely before his time. So he was so innovative that imagine how he would integrate what he wanted to do, his vision, his imagination, into what's going to occur over the next 10, 20, 30 years in this space.
His first game, I can't remember what it's called before Ultima. He made it in 1979, and it was for sale in a plastic bag with like a little drawing and a disc. And now one of those games, it's called like Akaban or something. I can't remember the pronunciation, but any copy of that in the plastic bag is worth over $10,000 on eBay. Like it's the most primitive.
He's like Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, of computer games.
A sketch of a helicopter 480 years ago before plexiglass was invented. So anyway, he was before his time.
So that's a little bit of the history. That's a little bit of the history of like of how I think And somebody in the comments can correct me on my errors, because I'm just going off the top of my head. I probably got a lot of factual things wrong. I hope I didn't. But Richard Garriott and Lord British and Ultima 4 and Ultima all the way up to, I don't know, 9 or something online. I don't know where it is now. There's Shroud of the Avatar, which is the new Ultima, which I don't think many people are playing right now, because it's not on the blockchain. Ironically, I don't know if there's plans to. I actually emailed them, said, "Are you going to be developing Shroud of the Avatar to go into the blockchain at any point?" So I don't think they emailed me back. But at any rate, that's some interesting development into the history of all this stuff, where it,
cool.
as far at least on the gaming side of it, not maybe on the finance side of it and on the economic side of it, but on the gaming side of it.
But it's all going to intersect. It's all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get into this right now, but it's going to intersect with artificial intelligence as well, which is, you want to talk about a little bit of a scary technology coming up. There's some things there that it's going to be me. I'm going to be sitting around the Thanksgiving table. I'll be the old Aunt Danny, and at like 70, I'll be like, "Sweetie, are you sure you want to invest in that artificial intelligence project?" To like my 20-year-old great nephew or something. I don't know. But so I agree with you. It is generational. So that's fascinating though about the metaverse. Really cool. So interesting so exciting what's going to happen. Right?
Well, unless you have any closing thoughts, I think we talked about staking and we talked about metaverses and some gaming history today. I think that's been a pretty cool little chat.
Yeah. Well, thanks for talking to me about it. I had a great time.
Leave the clincher about AI next time.
Clincher. It's coming up. We're going to talk about AI next time.